welcome everyone to a new episode of Score Sheet. As we promised our dear viewers, whenever there is an important sports event which is taking place in Egypt, we are going to follow it wherever it is. And here we are with modern pentathlon, with the 2016 Junior World Championship of Modern Pentathlon being held here. And we are in the Cairo International Stadiums. Here we are to meet with the coaches, with players, with the officials, top officials, everything and in detail in this very special episode, so stay tuned. Delighted to have with us Engineer Sharif Al-Aryan, the President of the Egyptian Federation of Modern Pentathlon. Thank you very much for being with us, sir. And as usual, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Well, people from 29 countries are here to compete and to enjoy themselves. It's not the senior this time, it's the juniors. But I've not expected that it's going to be that tough when it comes to the competitions. But it seems that it's even severer or more severe.
Now, every competition has its own circumstances. In our sport, you can never, ever predict who's going to win. Even if the world champion or the Olympic champion comes and plays with the juniors, he has no guarantee of winning the competition. Yeah. It's not like swimming or running where it's the exact numbers. Today we have 3 or 4 players who have played in the Olympics who are playing in the competition, and they are not in the top 5 in the competition till now. So it is tough, it's unpredictable. This is the beauty of our sport.
Great. But I don't know why I've got the impression that modern pentathlon is getting more popular worldwide. I mean, not only in the African continent, but worldwide it's getting more popular. I don't know if you agree with me or no.
No, I do agree with you. Okay, modern pentathlon is getting more popular. It's a very exciting sport. The changes that the UIPM, the governing body, has done in the past few years, changing to the laser run, changing to the combined event where it's more exciting, and spectators can see a big challenge. Someone is first, then the other one comes back and from behind, and so it's very exciting sport. Of course, it's a sport created by Pierre de Coubertin, the founder of the Olympic Games, and we love it.
But at the moment, also, I do not find an explanation why most of the modern pentathlon champions started first as swimmers and they moved from swimming to modern pentathlon or to practice modern pentathlon.
That is because each sport of the 5 sports that we have, if you take swimming by itself, all over the world, swimmers will start in the age of 3. Starting to learn swimming and so on. If you take fencers all over the world, they start at the age of 8 or 9. If you take runners, running is a natural thing, so there's no real age for it. But riding, you start also from the age of 6, 7, 8. So we take swimming because you cannot take someone who's at the age of 9 and 10 who has not already started swimming. Just starting to learn swimming at this age is too old to reach the levels that needed to be a champion.
I was here, I think, near nearly 8 months ago. It was by the end of February, and it was another successful event organized by the Modern Pentathlon Egyptian Federation. And I think now for decades, for years, we have got the trust of the International Union to participate, to share, and to organize international events. Tell me your impression about that and how this is going to continue. What are the procedures taken? What are the obstacles on the way? Difficulties, everything.
Egypt has one of the best facilities for modern pentathlon all over the world. By the recognition of the International Federation itself, I was just speaking with them yesterday, and they told me that Egypt and Poland now are the top two in facilities for organizing competitions. I personally think Egypt is number one by far.
Yeah.
But this is something that makes us happy. We are trying our best to upgrade our facilities. The Cairo stadium facilities are perfect. This is why Egypt has won in most of the bids they have offered to UIPM.
Yeah.
We have guaranteed for Egypt two big major competitions in the UIPM calendar until 2020.
Yeah.
So until 2020 we have either a World Cup competition, one of the series of the World Cup, or like here the Junior World Championships or the Senior World Championship or Biathlon World Championship or a Laser Run World Championship. So there is trust from the UIPM in Egypt, and I hope it continues.
And there's something which is going to take place in March 2017, which is?
In March is the World Cup series. We have 4 World Cup series.
Yeah.
Egypt is organizing the second World Cup series after Los Angeles, which will be hosting it in February. We will be hosting it in the end of March. There are 4 World Cup series and then a final World Cup every year. Egypt has guaranteed one of the 4 World Cup series yearly to be done here in Egypt, in the continent of Africa, up to 2020. This is important for us for qualification points, for PWR points, for qualifying to Rio, hopefully.
Engineer Sharif, I do have many other questions, but before going to another point, I'd like to ask this question again and again. Still, unfortunately, we are suffering what is going on with the media outlets outside Egypt about security, safety in Egypt, and about if there is a political turmoil, a chaotic situation, stuff like that. Till the moment, have you had any difficulty in convincing any of the players or any of the international federations to send their players or their champions to compete in Egypt?
We had this problem 2 years ago,
Okay.
and it was tough. But now, after having so many competitions here, people did boycott in the beginning, okay, and they didn't come. They thought Egypt was not secure.
Yeah.
But of course, now after everyone has come and have seen that how the security is, how everything is peaceful in Egypt, there's no problem. The media exaggerates a lot. Okay, the small problem somewhere, and they exaggerate as if it's a big thing. I think this is politically driven. Okay, but I will not go into this. This is sport. We have proven to our UIPM family and to our sportsmen that Egypt is safe. Egypt is one of the best places, with the best weather, the best. They go to the pyramids, they go to the museum.
This was my coming
There's
question.
no problem whatsoever.
And I like the word family you have just used. I feel that all the competitors here, they are friends, or at least willing to be friends. And you know, everyone, when he or she is returned home, she or he returned with a list of friends, a list of emails, of WhatsApps and stuff like that. It turned to be more social than sports, or as social as sports, or both together, or what?
No, the sporting part is and competitive part is important, of course, but so is the social part.
Yeah.
Our children have learned to have so many friends. They come, even the people who are not in the national team come to see their other friends who they compete against in other competitions abroad.
Yeah.
It is one big family, and I like the atmosphere in pentathlon, and I hope it continues.
Inshallah, it will.
Inshallah.
Regarding Rio, for me, when it comes to modern pentathlon, was a little bit frustrating. I should confess that. And when I was here in February, I don't know why I had the impression that the Gezeris are going to do something. What happened there, and why we have not achieved this?
Because simply this is sport. Egypt, not only pentathlon, Egypt had 8 players who were potential medalists. Amr Gezeri was one of them.
Yep.
From those 8, 1 got caught doping, which is Ehab Abdurrahman, so
Yeah.
he was out before the competition. So we had 7 remaining. From those 7, we got 3 Olympic medals. This is a normal ratio. We were expecting from the 8 to get 4. We were hoping for more, yes, of course. We would have loved that everyone got a medal.
Yeah.
But if we talk technically about pentathlon,
Yep.
the Amr Gezeri, of course, he had a good chance of a medal. He ruined his chances by getting a lower score than his normal in the fencing. Okay, he lost 4 consecutive matches. He was going very good up to 3/3 of the competition.
Yeah.
He lost a couple of matches in a row. He could not recover mentally out of it. Okay, and could not regain his strength. And this is what brought him down. He started the combine in 3rd place, but we all knew that this 3rd place will not get him even in the first 10.
Yeah.
He needed to start in 1st place as usual, and it was a difference of 30 to 40 seconds from the 3rd or 4th place.
Yep. Regarding the future of modern pentathlon in Egypt, regarding our international competitions, I'm not here speaking about just world championships or stuff like that. I'm speaking about Tokyo in specific. As far as I know, that all the champions are preparing for the coming Olympic Games in the final day of the previous Olympic Games, meaning that 4 years is nothing if I'm going to speak about an Olympic champ. Have we started?
Of course, we are not. What do you call it? We are not gonna say we did bad. What we're gonna do next? We move on. This is sports. We finish a competition. We look for the next one. So we have spoken with our players. We are getting ready for Tokyo from now. From October we start our program. Okay, of course we are criticized for not getting a good result. We are not happy with the result. Of course we are not happy with the result. We should have done much better. We hope to do much better, but we do understand that this is sport and those things happen. We will continue with our youth. We have the Youth Olympic Games in 2018 in Buenos Aires, and we have a very, very strong team. One of them is competing here, which is Salma Ayman, and she reached the final in under 21, which is great. We are hoping to be on the podium for both men and women in Buenos Aires. And of course, we're continuing with our senior team for Tokyo. Heidi Adel, we just had a meeting with her.
I was just going to ask about Heidi.
Heidi Adel, we will take it easy for this year because this year is also important for her. This is the last year in school. It's very important for her to get a good result in school so that we can hope for a good scholarship abroad, and then we continue from there.
Inshallah. Regarding the doping issue, because it's really a piece of news every now and then, and even on top of the news when it comes to sports in general. How do you see this doping issue and what we are doing to prevent anything like that of Ihab Abdurrahman to be repeated in any or with any of our champions? In your opinion, of course.
Doping cannot be prevented 100%, and you cannot. You can only blame the player if he's in fault. Of course, the coach has a part in it. The medical doctors have a part. The federation has a part in awareness more than anything. But if a player decides to take something, regardless of all
on
of this,
his own or on your own,
no one can stop him. Okay, so it is negligence, it is stupidity, it is I don't know what you call it. You name it. Okay, and we have said this from the first day when it happened to Ihab Abdurrahman. Okay, we are all upset, we are all unhappy, but there's nothing we can do, and we couldn't have stopped it in any way possible. So even the Egyptian Federation for Athletics is not 100% to be blamed. Maybe they didn't do enough awareness. That could be. I don't know. I will not get into this. Even our players, we do our utmost with our doctors and medical team to get everything prepared. But people have to understand that you cannot compete at this level with just normal food and normal training. No, there is extra stuff that has to be done. There is a lot of supplements that are taken and are a must, because now sports has reached levels that are humanly impossible.
Yep. Regarding our coaching staff, the coaching staff of our national team, as far as I know that they are all Egyptians. True?
Yes, this is true. All of our staff are Egyptians. We have decided as a federation to invest in our young coaches and to help them build up their coaching career and become perfect.
How? Because this is very important, and it's not just about the talent of being a coach. It's about courses, it's about studying, it's about research, it's about being all the time following the most modern techniques, stuff like that, and a lot of stuff like that.
We have taken the decision in our federation not to go for foreigners. Okay, I personally think the foreigners are okay, but they're not that great. I told my coaches and the people that we thought that are potential to be very good coaches and were pentathlon players and at high levels, that we will help them, and we did help them in courses, in updating them with everything that is new in every single sport by itself. Okay, with the highest coaches in each sport by itself, and then they do the combination of the 5 trainings together, and we have asked them to innovate. Okay, it's very important to be an innovator, not to duplicate what others are doing if you want to be a winner.
Engineer Sharif Al Aryan, thank you very much for being with us.
Thank
you very much for your utmost effort, you and your men, of course, to have a story of success like the one we are speaking from inside right now. And of course, the best of luck.
Thank you. Thank you.
30 seconds. And Chris nails it. That was very close there. Nice move with Chris from France. Means he'll be staying.
I had the honor to have him 4 or 5 times on Nile TV International, and I hope that this is not going to be the last time, and every time he is here in Egypt, he is going to be our dear guest. We are very much delighted to have with us Mr. Klaus Schulman, the president of the International Union of Modern Pentathlon. Thank you very much for being with us, sir.
Thank you, and I'm quite happy to be here during the World Championship Juniors in the year 16, the Olympic year.
Yeah. We have been here nearly 8 months ago. It was in February, and it was another event organized by the Egyptian Federation of Modern Pentathlon. I was just speaking with Mr. Sharif Al Aryan, the president of our federation, and I was happy to say that the Egyptian Federation gained the trust of the International Union to organize more and more events. And he told me that you see Egypt and Poland at the best when it comes to the organization. Tell me more, please.
Let's say, we cannot say the best. They are
of the best.
They are in the group of very good organizers. Why we had, just when we look back in this year to the World Championship in Moscow, it was absolutely a glory.
Sure.
Absolutely glory. And we had already here a meeting linked to the World Championship next year. So I said to Mr. Sharif, you have
it's going to be in March, I think.
The World this year will
Yeah.
be in March.
Yeah.
But next year will be in August here, the World Championship for seniors. And to be as well like minimum like Moscow,
Yeah.
this will make him maybe a headache in this moment. And to be on this high standard what we want to have, all the World Champions year by year must be better and better. So they have a lot of duties to fulfill.
Yeah.
I think he got a small headache when we discussed it in the last days,
Yeah.
what he has to do. But we are now focused on the Junior World Championship. We are very happy to have very young, very good, talented athletes.
This was my coming question. Very talented, and it seems that the standard or the level of the competition is getting higher. I mean, the bar is getting raised a day after the other and a championship after the other when it comes to modern pentathlon. Is it because of the fact that modern pentathlon is becoming more popular? Is it because the players started that early? What, in your opinion?
The meaning is we have since 2010 the Youth Olympic Games.
Yeah.
It was in Singapore first time,
Yep.
second time 4 years later in Nanjing, and now we are looking forward to Buenos Aires. And that means that the nations are preparing their assets on the youth age group much more better than in the past. And so this is a benefit from us now, for us, that the juniors are stronger than ever before.
Yeah.
And this again affecting then later the senior. So the level of the pentathlon have been growing in the last years enormously, and so we are happy to see the great performances as well already here at the Junior World Championship.
And I think also with the modifications which were added to modern pentathlon by the International Union, the image itself became different.
Yeah, you see, I was the man who brought all in these new parts,
Yeah.
and I had a lot of countries not willing really to follow at the beginning. But since last year when we decided at the Congress this new format, what we in practice had the whole season, and then at the Olympic Games in Rio de Janeiro, very, very successful. Now the people are more quiet. They are
Yeah.
understanding, they concentrate on the sport and not on sport politics in that way,
Yep.
or sport practical parts. And this is very good in our union. There is a great harmony, understanding the vision of the president was correct. some of them learned late,
Yep.
but still they have learned it. And so now for the next 4 years, focusing on Tokyo 2020, we will have a much more better time than the last 4 years.
Since you have mentioned Tokyo 2020, let's go back to Rio 2016. How have you seen modern pentathlon in Rio? The standard, the level, those who were participating. Have you had any surprises there?
No, the surprises was it was better than we thought before. The field of play was excellent.
Yeah.
The level, the quality of the horses, the setup of the parkour, the setup of the fencing hall and the youth arena for the bonus fencing. The number of spectators, this is missing always here in Cairo a little bit. We need really spectators to hopefully next year we will have spectators, not only family members.
Yeah.
So that is really a very important part. And so Rio was a great success, not a single protest. Shooting went fantastic. Fencing, the technical part was excellent. And the atmosphere was so great that we say it was much more better than London in that way, in the atmosphere and on the technical side.
I myself felt it was more social.
Yeah.
And even here, I was just saying this to engineer Sharif, the events here are getting more social or even as social as sportive,
Yeah.
if I can say so, and if you agree with me on that.
No, I agree on that. And so Rio was the step with 4 disciplines with the bonus fencing in the field of play. And in Rio we have the Tokyo Stadium with 50,000 spectator seats.
Wow.
And the swimming will also temporary in the stadium. So 5 disciplines in the stadium. You follow up from your seat. Only the bonus fencing, only the round robin fencing will be a day before.
Yeah.
So therefore, what we will see next year is okay. There will be swimming not here, but another part of the future Olympic Games we will celebrate here also at the World Championship in 2017. So Rio is another very strong milestone on our movement for the future. And we wish that our colleagues and friends from Egypt are following as well the standards, what we discussed the last days, and why the sport knowledge is given, but the surroundings, I know they will work hard on this part to fulfill the necessary steps, what I gave them on the table.
God willing. I should seize the opportunity here to ask you about your cooperation with the WADA, because this doping issue is getting, I don't know how to describe it. It's getting on top of the news. I think for during the Olympic year, and just a couple of days ago, even the IOC president Thomas Bach said the leaks or the hacks is ridiculous, and they asked Russia to help in that. Vladimir Putin, the Russian president, said it raises a lot of question. You know, there is a lot of chaos when it comes to doping these days.
Yes, but I see this just as an IF president. We are working on the national side with our federations, with the NADAs.
Yeah.
Then on the international side, we are working with WADA.
Yeah.
All what we have to fulfill, we are controlling and we are doing. So we have no issues with them. And there are some other parts behind what I will not state here in front of television.
Okay.
What I know.
Behind camera, we will discuss that. Okay.
This is what we also have to mention.
Yeah.
There are really serious people working hard on this part to have a clean athlete. Our duty is to protect the clean athlete. Therefore, when we
This is exactly my question. What will you do, or what you are already doing to protect our athletes and to let them practice sports cleanly, if I may describe it this way?
It's a part of education. You have to educate already when they are young people in the youth age, to make seminars. And we do this. We have at the USA World Champ different times. We had already a 2-3 hours seminar. What means the best, how you take your food, what you have to drink, what you when you have some illness, whom you have to contact, how you have to manage this. And so all these, let's say, briefings we are doing permanently, ongoing. And this is also a special duty for the national federations to do, the National Olympic Committees to do. And, you know, there where is a lot of money in sport, there you have mainly the doping cases.
Yep.
And, but anyway, it doesn't matter. The goal is to educate the young people. You only can be proud of your victory when you have been a clean athlete. Otherwise, there is a time it will come out, and then you are blamed. Your sport is blamed, your family is blamed, your association
And even
is blamed.
if you are an Olympic champ, your medal is going to be taken from you. Sir, have you, or was you surprised with the big names who are involved in these cases? I'm not going to mention names, but for you,
I'm
was it
never
a surprise?
surprised. I'm too long. I'm 54 years in my sport. And
I was surprised by Alberto Contador, for example. I am going to mention names.
Yeah, but I tell you really, I will not say names, but the point is, if you are so deeply and so long the leader of an international federation, you know much more than we speak to the media.
Yeah.
And we try then to solve situations. So for me, there is never a surprise. And but when we know something, we try already to find a way that such a part is better controlled. And so we are all not happy that just before the Olympic Games this McLaren report came out, that we are taking care about the clean athletes, that we educating our athletes from the youngest age on, where we have responsibilities. This is to use a World Championship or use Olympic Games. And we make special seminars. And then so to bring this in the head, in the mind of the athlete and the coaches and the trainers and the political leaders of the nations, not only to focus on the medal, focus on the health of the athletes, and then telling them, when you are a winner of a medal, you only can be proud when you know you have been clean. But if you have been winning with manipulations, that will be never good in your mind. And sometimes it's coming out. Then you have blamed your family, your trainer, all the surroundings, and your sport, sure, is affected. So therefore we have this as a special goal, education to modern pentathlon and protect the clean athlete. And then I must say, when the McLaren documents came out, this could have been published much more earlier. We would not damage the Olympic Games in this way. Why you are also damaging the clean athletes with this. And, we have a fantastic medical committee with people, they know what to do in the right moment with the athletes. We have our blood tests always, so that we have a file about the athletes over years, so we can control. It is a so-called health test. So if we are finding something, we will take out the asset immediately.
But you know, sir, the excuse behind this, people are saying that we do not have a much more authorized labs as before. Now we do have a very limited numbers of labs, so the samples themselves, the tests themselves, the results are not coming that easy, and it's not that fast as before. Maybe only one sample would take 3 months. So
yeah, the point is a question of money.
Yeah.
Again, these doping cases for all the IFs takes us now a lot from our budget.
Yeah.
And instead that we put this money in development, in education, in performance of athletes, now we have to put this all on these cases.
Yeah.
And so therefore it is so needed that also the governments and maybe also sponsors give more money in this part. When they want to advertise athletes, they should also assist us in the other way. So there is an ongoing discussion. The discussion will not finish. And the IOC, together with WADA and to the National Olympic Committees and the NADAs, will be an ongoing deep discussion. I think we need another forum where we have with seminars, with experts, to bring it on the table, to include athletes who are clean athletes, to educate as role models the young people. And I think from our side I can say I'm very happy. We are very transparent and we take a lot energy in this part, while we are the heritage of Coubertin, and so we have to take care about the Olympic ideas. And sure, we also, you never can cross a finger, have a situation. We had a case who was in the report named an athlete, but we didn't know, he didn't know why there was an institution involved what put everything away, so we had no results. So, but there was a clear statement, and this federation also accepted not to go to CAS. We know there was something wrong, but we are in close discussion with these responsible people.
We do have one of the modern pentathlon champions from Australia, Max. Max, hello.
Hello, how are you?
First time in Egypt?
Third time actually, so
Third time.
yes, it's a pleasure to be here. You always host, you always welcome us and host a very good competition.
And also the level is getting better and better. I think that the competition is becoming more severe a day after the other or an event after the other. True?
Yes, because now that they've picked out like the best 36 athletes, you know that it's the top guns at the competition.
Regarding modern pentathlon, I always say that the one who is practicing modern pentathlon, he is one of a kind. 5 sports. But of course, there is a sport which is closer to your heart than the others. And how have you started in the first place?
So how I started pentathlon?
First?
Well, because my father was a pentathlete, so he sort of introduced us when we were young kids, and he also, my father and mother have a learn to swim business, so
Then you have started as a swimmer.
yes, but I started at 4 months, but only like doggy paddle and like little simple things.
Max for what?
Max.
4 months?
Oh yeah, 4 months I started swimming, but
Okay.
swimming is, it's one of my, I wouldn't say best, but I'm probably top 5 in the swimming, so.
Yeah. Seems so. Regarding the rest of the story you have, riding or riding or running or fencing or shooting, which is closer to your heart, Max?
So I think because I enjoy riding because it's different, because I'm working with the animal, so it's not like, I'm not pushing myself, so it's more enjoyable, and unlike swimming where you have to like go so hard, and same as running and fencing, it's more challenging, but it's good because I like animals as well, so it's easy.
You know, sports experts are saying now that mental fitness is as important as physical fitness, and maybe in some cases is more important. How do you see this?
Yes, I think mental is 100% true, because my father always tells me, you're a good athlete, but sometimes on the day you come undone because what's in your head. So I think it's a big important thing to work on is the mental aspect. So yeah.
How do you prepare yourself for a big event like that? I mean, do you practice normally in all over the year, and before the championships you concentrate more, you focus more, you increase the hours of training, or what?
So normally when it's competition time we do tapering, so probably a week out we do less volume but more sprinting, so to try and make it like competition. But everything we just do the same, or at the off season we do more volume and more like endurance stuff. So
Regarding sports in general, it's fun. But whenever you are a pro or you are competing internationally, it's a different story. You should forget all about your social life. You should forget all about just hanging out with friends and stuff like that. And you should only focus on your studies and your sport or your training sessions.
Yes.
If time goes back,
Yeah.
are you going to choose the same way of life, or you are going to enjoy your life far from international greed and competitions and stuff like that?
Right, well, you're the first person who has asked me that question, so if I could turn back time, I'd probably I'd probably do what I'm doing now because I've made friends on the way. So I think like what I'm doing. I enjoy it. I know it's very difficult and the training's tough, and I might not have some social life, but I try and balance out the social life and training as well because I'm uh, currently not doing school, so that's why it's sort of easier for.
Challenge now is currently between number 24, Egypt, and number 23, Germany. Out.
We are very much delighted to have with us one of the medical committee here responsible for the athletes of the championship of juniors of modern pentathlon being held here in Cairo, Dr. Marco from Brazil. Thank you very much for being with us.
It's a pleasure for me arriving.
First time in Egypt?
Yes, first time, and I hope back next year to World Cup or Senior Championship because I loved this place.
Tell me exactly what are the mission of the medical committee here? What are you doing, and what are the difficulties you're facing? If there were unfortunately some injuries, how have you had dealt with them? Everything.
Yes, the medical commission is work to prevent injuries and keep the athletes healthy. So regarding nutrition, doping risks, and environmental situations, and all that involve the athlete's health. Our job are hard because we need each discipline have his physiology, his risk. So we need to keep our attention in all situations because despite the athletes are healthy, we have injuries, we have different conditions from here and from Europe or Latin America or Orient. So each athlete have special training, but they need keep all time informed regarding some details. For example, here in Cairo, the most particularly focus to us, medical commission, is the environmental conditions. It's hot and dry. So we worked since before the tournament to learn about hydration, and during the tournament I talked with each coach to learn the athletes and keep the athletes with good hydration.
Regarding this doping issue, what are you doing with the samples? How are you collecting the samples? How are you making sure that everything is okay? Because we have heard a lot about what's going on regarding the doping issues all over the world. What are exactly the procedures taken?
So the first step is if the country that hosts the tournament have a NADO, a National Anti-Doping Organization. Thus, we requested to the NADO to join us and make the controls during the tournament. It's very important to speak that the anti-doping is not to punish the athletes, it's to learn the athletes about the values of the sports and also to prevent the risks regarding the doping. Some drugs are very dangerous. And here the medical delegate, here in the tournaments, we check if the rules regarding doping, regarding WADA, are following. And if the NADO take the care regarding the doping controls and follow the rules regarding samples, regarding the forms, regarding the chain of custody. So we check if they follow the rules, the WADA rules.
Since you are coming from Brazil, Rio was a pleasure for all who were there. So congratulations. And also the Paralympic Games, they were also enjoying themselves. The athletes there were enjoying themselves in addition to practicing their favorite sport. Tell me your impression as a Brazilian on what happened in Rio.
Yes, in Rio I worked as the manager of many doping stations. Also the pentathlon station. And in Paralympics I didn't work because I'm here and not in Rio. And I choice comes here, then works in Paralympics.
But the experience itself
Is very good experience because we worked with in different disciplines, in different sports, and the atmosphere is a bit different because many people it was as expected during 4 years, so is the topic in the sports. And the most important for us as doping control officers, managers and medical staff is that occurred all under the rules, no bad violations, no great injuries, so it's the best for us.
Charles from Guatemala, first time in Egypt?
No, it's actually my third time. Third time in
Great.
Egypt. Yes. You know, it's always a pleasure to be here to compete. And
When was the first time, Charles?
my first time was last year in 2015 in the first World Cup here in Cairo. Yes, and so I competed there, and then the second time was this year, earlier for the first World Cup also. And
It was in February.
in February, exactly. And then now this Junior World Championships.
Since when you're practicing modern pentathlon?
I've been practicing modern pentathlon for about 6 years now. I've been in the sport, and this is my last year as a junior.
Yeah. And you've been practicing, of course, something else before modern pentathlon. And most of you were swimmers in the first place. Were you a swimmer before being a modern pentathlon athlete?
No, I was actually a runner.
Wow.
I was actually a runner before modern pentathlon.
You're an exception, by the way.
Yes, thank you. So, yeah, it's been a good year. I've had great results, and practicing the sport has been a pleasure and an honor for me.
But Charles, it's a turning point when you decide to move from being a runner to another thing. And I think that you were too young to decide for that. Somebody decided for you. One of the coaches thought about you, that you have the talent to be competing in 5 sports. What was the story?
My dad used to do modern pentathlon many years ago, and one time they invited him to a competition so he could go judge the competition. And when I went to go see, I really liked it, so I was like, why not give it a try? And very fast, within maybe 6 months, I got the hang of all the sports, except for shooting. I'm not a very good shooter, but at the end of the day, everything was good, and I decided to do this sport. And then 2 years later, I decided to do it professionally and look for Olympic Games qualifications.
Yeah. Regarding the Olympic Games in Rio, it was such games. I mean, the standard, the level, the modifications, and the new rulings, stuff like that. I think it's becoming even more popular because of this. Modern pentathlon became more popular because of that. If you agree with me.
Yes, no, I agree completely. There was so much coverage in the Olympic Games. I love the Olympic Games, the way it was organized, the way they broadcasted it. At the end of the day, I think many people came to know the sport of modern pentathlon. Also through, I'm pretty sure here in Egypt with Omar El Ghaziri and Amro El Ghaziri, very good athletes themselves. And so I think overall the Olympic Games were really amazing, and it was just a great opportunity, a great experience to compete and now also live that moment.
Do you live in Guatemala?
I live in Guatemala. Yes.
I asked about where do you live because I want to know if it's becoming more popular, because I feel that modern pentathlon is getting more popular worldwide.
I think modern pentathlon is getting popular more worldwide, obviously in bigger countries. In Guatemala, it's getting very popular. We have a lot more athletes than we used to many years ago, but now it's coming up again. And I think with the results we've been having as a team, as a Guatemalan team, I think much more people are seeing the sport and getting interested in it. So overall, especially after the Olympic Games, like you said, the sport is just getting bigger and bigger.
But you all have very busy schedule, moving from here to there, from junior to senior. It's going to be for you next year, God willing. So what about your social life? What about your dedication to training sessions and being ready for the new event to come? What about the accumulation of points just to get a better ranking? It's a lot of stuff, and to manage this, it's not an easy story.
Yeah, you're right. It's not easy to manage social life and studies and sport at the same time. My philosophy is, if you want to do this professionally, you have to put 100% effort into it. If not, you're not going to reach your goal. And normally an athlete's goal is to go to the Olympic Games. So over the past years, I've had to sacrifice a lot of things, friends, even school, and more recently my family, because I have to be traveling and competing all the time. So it's hard, but at the end of the day, I think it's all worth it.
And it deserves.
Yes, exactly. So I'm very, very happy, and it's something that I'm allowed to do, and praise God that I'm here competing for my country and just enjoying my time and as an athlete.
He is all the time behind the camera, doing with his men such a great job to make every event taking place here a story of success. Captain Awad Sami, who is the manager of the championship, in addition to other championships also organized by the Egyptian Federation of Modern Pentathlon. Captain Awad, thank you very much for being with us on Nile TV International.
Thank you so much, and thank you for the nice introduction. It's really nice, and I'm always honored to be the manager for the championship in Egypt here, all the international in high level competition, and hopefully this time.
And 220 people coming from 29 countries, such a job to make them all feel great, feel safe, accommodation, management, taking care of everything they like. How was it, and since when you're preparing for this event, Captain Awad?
Yes, actually the great message we have to send for all the countries that we in a safe country, which is the main thing for us, and to give them a comfortable stay, comfortable accommodation, all what they like to have. So we are doing our best for doing something like this, and also there's support from different places. First of all, our federation, people behind, of course, the support with all the facilities, the stadium here. I can mention a lot of people, but really everybody is supporting us to show that we have safe country, safe competition, organized in a high level, applying all the rules. Everything's under control.
But I don't like the horses.
Actually, this year, I tell you why. Normally, we sometimes...
If you permit me to say so, of course.
Sure, no, but it's actually, you have to understand that this is a junior competition, which is athlete under 21 years old. For a riding event, they should have more time. Some of them, they come from the youth. They are like upgrading themselves to participate in the junior. And that's what maybe the reason that they are not good riders also. Some of them, of course, not all of them. And the horses this time, we had a problem because we borrow the horses from the riders, you know, and they have a very heavy long season for riding, and they have next week they have a competition. That therefore we couldn't bring really much good horses to participate here. So I could say sometimes it's on the athletes, sometimes it's about the horse, as you can see.
Amen to that. Regarding our players, you know, I myself didn't know that the juniors can have such a very tough competition. We do have the two Sharifs, Sharif Nazir and Sharif Yasser, and I think that tomorrow is another day, and we are going to have a new generation coming after the Gaziris and after Heidi Adel and Aya Madani when it comes to the females. But now it's clear that modern pentathlon is getting more popular, and the competition is going to get tougher, an event after the other. How do you see this, sir?
Actually, you know that our federation is always trying to make generation after generation, and which is very good policy. I think should all the federations do this, that they never leave any gap between the ages group, and that's what we are trying to do since maybe 8 years now. That we are trying to bring people from down and give them a chance to participate in a higher level competition. They gain the experience, they gain the knowledge for the competition. And I think this policy is very good because our federation is really following this very well. And we have different coaches.
And they're all Egyptians.
And all Egyptian. We have no foreigner. This is something really I have to be proud of because, you know, I'm also coaching in the team, and it's something nice that we are all Egyptian. We do better result than even foreigner here now.
Sir, I should say this, and I said it even to Engineer Sharif Al Ayan, the head of our federation. I was, as many Egyptians, frustrated after the Gaziris were out of the medals podium in Rio. But you know, one of the nice moments I had when I saw one of the Gaziris wearing a T-shirt having Hifni on its back, referring to his colleague, teammate who did not make it to Rio. This was such a gesture. Was it his idea?
Actually, those guys are the great guys. I mean, we raised them since maybe they were 13 years old. They grow up together, they travel together, they make everything together, training. They live together more than their families, actually. And that's why they are really having such a spirit like this, which is was really something, as you said, touch it, you know, to everybody's heart, that they were really nice to him. Because he was about to make it also for the Olympics, but he was too close. Actually, this year we had like 4 athletes were qualified for the Olympics, which never happened before. And one of them was Hefni, and Islam has made it from the qualification, African qualification. And I guess was really something nice of Amr and Omar to member or to share this moment with Hefni, showing the T-shirt. That really was very nice.
Tell you something, for me, this is what sports is all about.
Exactly. Really, this is really spirit has to be everywhere, in all sport, in Egypt, in all over the world.
Captain Awad, I know that you do have a very busy schedule. Thank you very much for being with us on Nile TV International. Always and forever, the best of luck.
Thank you so much. And I just would like to tell you that really we worked in this competition in a very difficult circumstances, like, you know, the El Eid, and it was everybody in vacation, but we brought people. Those are the really unknown soldiers who works with us, such workers, coaches, volunteers, everybody, even the federation. I do appreciate that, and I thank them really very much supporting me and support the success for the competition.
Well, by this we come to the end of this very special episode of Score Sheet. Till we meet again on Nile TV International, same time. On behalf of Dr. Muhammad Rabia, Amr Fathallah, Fadi Mohsen, and myself, Nermeen Abdurrahman, many thanks for watching always and forever. Assalamu alaikum.